Hello, my name is Day9.
My name is still Husky.
And this is the grand finals of the amateur division, the open sign-up half of the GeForce SC2 Pro-Am presented by
NVIDIA.
Shaduka Duke. And it looks like these players, Xenix Hack, coming from the lower bracket, has to win two best of threes in a row. I actually think I called it a best of 5 last time. In the pro division, they're the ones playing best of 5s, but in the open bracket, it's all best of 3s. Not because we want to look down on them at all, and we don't think that they deserve best of 5s, but because there were 10,000 of them.
Yes.
And having best of 5s would kind of be a lot. So RSVP came from the winner's bracket. He has to win one best of 3 to take this entire amateur championship. But right now, Xenix Hack could even up the score. If Xenix Hack wins this game, that will make him 2-0, winning the first best of 3, and they will have one more best of 3 remaining to determine that dare winner.
Yes, absolutely, and that's kind of a pretty standard way of doing tournaments, is if you get knocked into the lower bracket, the punishment in the absolute finals is that you are playing at a disadvantage. And so right now, though, Hack, after that performance in the first game, very easily could take game number 2. And StarCraft, always momentum, super important. That would be a devastating loss for RSVP because he's coming off of having already defeated Hack in the previous time that they encountered each other, and then now to just get crushed so one-sidedly. If he does indeed end up losing this game in a similar fashion to last game, that cannot be feeling good whatsoever.
I just had to clear my throat for a second there, Husky, because that truth is just so thick.
So much truth going around.
That's just a very weighty bit of knowledge you just shared with all of us. And it looks like Xenix Hack, I'm actually kind of impressed at both these players, you know, that when you're coming into the finals of a big tournament, it can be very nerve-wracking.
Yes.
But both players deciding to go for very standard routes in that first game. You saw RSVP opt for the big Colossus style, expanding aggression. We saw Xenix Hack come right out the gate with some solid Ghost Viking medevac play. And again, it's very easy if you're in RSVP's position to just go, oh, I got a Cannon Rusher 2-gate or 4-gate all in to try to win immediately. And I like that neither player is leaning towards that right now.
Yeah, and I absolutely think that RSVP is a player who most likely wouldn't do that just based on his performance in the games before. We know that he is going to be having solid mechanics. I really do like that pylon placement. I believe that was his second pylon that was at the very corner of his base. That's really cool because not only does it you can warp units closer to your opponent's base, you can also use them for getting flanks, defending, and expansion. So he's thinking long-term by that pylon placement. Really, really like that. Also, it's going to spot for any sort of proxy or any Reapers jumping up there. Sean, that is one of the best placed second pylons. I could talk about that guy all day.
He is incredible, you know. Oh, GSL style.
Dude, I noticed that like when they're building like a Phoenix or something at the Stargate, they like turn it all crazy.
Like, turn it sideways. Oh, look at this.
Oh.
It's a tech lab. Oh,
although buildings do look pretty ridiculous when you look at them at the
especially when you turn it this way. And it's this sheet of giant white. Look at how dumb these buildings look. You've even cast it here. I mean, we have the probe sitting outside of the ramp. We have the Zealot deciding to come in. And it looks like this Marine might be here to defend.
A perfect angle looking directly up that ramp. He may actually be able to delay the expansion if he goes
no.
for the SCP, but
like
the Marauder's slow, making him run uncomfortably slow.
And the Stalker's going to arrive to sacrifice himself as well. No, he'll be pulling back. And, you know, I actually want to come back and talk about this pylon a little bit more. If your opponent is scouting your base, and let's say I'm Terran.
I know where you're going with this, Sean, and I already like it.
If I'm at 20 food, and I'm Terran, and I see my Protoss player, and he only has one pylon in his base, I'm thinking, is the other one hiding a Stargate somewhere? Is it hiding maybe DT tech? Maybe he's 4-gating me and is hiding those gateways. You get just a little bit suspicious, and it's something so simple. Just moving a pylon somewhere else in your base is a little harder to see, can make your opponent have to do a little bit of extra thinking he might not want to do.
And later, when they're scanning your base, oh, here goes one Stalker down right away. That is going to suck anytime you lose a Stalker like that without a direct engagement. But the probe finishes the job by executing that Marine there, which I would not expect to happen. So, also, I just want to say you can hide tech there on that pylon. I think we've mentioned that pylon more times than I've ever talked about.
Yes, and it looks like these two Marauders are indeed running by the vision. No.
Yes.
Getting a couple of glimpses of these two Marauders. Again, this pylon right here is going to be able to do a lot of good spotting throughout the game. Now, we do see the 3 barracks play down by Xenix Hack. He's opting to get a pretty early stim, and always with that first 100 gas, you have the choice of stim, factory, or a +1 upgrade. So we see the factory is actually coming out second. This play from Xenix Hack, to me, indicates that he wants to be continuing to put pressure at that front.
I almost feel like he's a kid who just got his allowance and he can either get the candy bar, the brightly colored bracelet,
or the stim.
Or the stim pack, which, of course, all Terran players want to get that stim pack at a young age just because, well, you should never abuse stim packs. I think this is a very serious matter.
Yeah.
Because they can bring you down to 10 HP.
Yeah, that's right. You'll never have no life. You'll only have 10. So we see that it looks like RSVP taking both his gas geysers. This is a big indicator that he wants to go for Colossus tech. He does have the 3 gateways up right now, getting that observer so responsibly towards his opponent. We see Xenix Hack getting the 3rd refinery, 3 refineries, again, the amount that you need to go Marines and Marauders and Medivacs, and still have enough minerals to be building all those units.
And also getting upgrades is going to be vital. We saw that in the last game where just having a 1 attack upgrade, I think maybe his finishing his 1 armor as well, played a huge role. Again, there is going to be that Colossus tech, a little bit older school, getting the Colossus out early on 2 base before getting any kind of upgrades. And Sean, do you feel like this is a powerful way to play PvT, or is it kind of outdated?
I mean, it's very, very strong in the direct confrontation. When the Colossi can actually fight your large bio ball, you are in good shape as a Protoss player. It's everything around that. If you want to be expanding a lot, it's hard to get those Colossus into a good position. If you are getting dropped a lot, it's hard to get the Colossus into that direct fight position. And in fact, even if you do something like have 1 Colossus here for defense and then 1 Colossus down here for defense, all of a sudden the Terran player goes, oh, I'll just kill off one of those Colossi, and all of a sudden you are weakened for that eventual direct confrontation. So I'm really leery of going for Colossi early on. Not because it's bad, but because it's difficult.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially since players have figured it out so well. I mean, I'm thinking back to the beta where Colossus could just crush through everything, but now players have learned exactly how to engage the Colossus positioning, like you were saying, Sean. Now we do have exactly what we were talking about. It is going to be a drop inside the main base. I think this is so smart. Drops against Protoss can prove to be very powerful. You can also see exactly what they're getting, maybe snipe a tech structure or 2. And time again, I've seen a Protoss player actually lose because they lose a tech structure that is having an upgrade and they kill it right before it finishes. So we'll see
that hurts so much, especially when it's Zealot leg speed.
Yes.
And then you have nothing but a giant army of slow Zealots. Oh my god, it looks like drops coming in and RSVP might be able to pick off the Medivac. No.
Now, thankfully for Hack, he actually only unloaded Marines there. No Marauders died, so those Marauders are always going to be a threat until he's able to get any sort of way of dealing with those Medivacs. But again, StarCraft 2 maps, there is a lot of dead space around the corners of the map that you can hide these dropships at. And Hack playing so smart, he's going to be running inside the natural, focusing down 1 pylon. It's about all he's most likely going to get here. And trying to take out the Colossus. That'd be a huge victory. No, it does back up.
Nice.
The force field's almost trapping that army, but that was not a 2-pronged attack. These drops were not able to unload simply because of the Stalkers.
That was a 1-pronged attack, followed very shortly by a 1-pronged attack, Husky.
Yes.
And though that total is 2, oh my god.
No.
No, this placement, this is a really vulnerably placed pylon. I really don't like that placement at all.
Who puts
really
a pylon
easy
there?
to
That's such
snipe
a
off.
new place to put a pylon.
What an awful player, RSVP. Trying to defend this drop at the backside of his base. But it looks like RSVP doing a decent job of spreading out those Colossi. Again, you got to be so careful. It's easy just to run up and just push a Colossus over, and he falls down on his big, wobbly, dumb legs.
Yeah, man, and their head explodes like a giant bug. But right now, we do see... Does our Terran player have a 3rd base on the way yet, Sean? I haven't noticed. It does not look like he does.
Wow, he's actually being really aggressive, isn't he? Just sort of perusing around his base. Sure, he's getting the Vikings up and the Marine Marauder, but not a single sign of any command center in sight.
Yeah, and also he's making like 4 depots at a time. He was very heavily supply blocked here, so I was kind of surprised that he didn't just throw down a command center to compensate, but maybe he was worried about the Protoss timing window when you get 3 to 4 Colossus. But we do see a 3rd base out of RSVP, and do you like the timing of this one, Sean?
I mean, it's fine, but again, it's that discomfortable feeling. It's that discomfort, that uncomfortable feeling you have when you have this Colossus defense.
Yes.
And now your natural's sort of open. Your main has, again, one of those Colossi just poking around, not really doing very much defense on its own individual level. And how do you spread yourself out as RSVP to be able to adequately defend everything? We also see the Zealot leg speed, the +1 attack coming up. So RSVP is eventually going to have a big scary army, but he may have been better off sticking to 2 bases, getting a huge army and pushing while he took his third instead of walking to defend his third.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Sean, especially since his opponent has yet to expand, as he's just been making supply depots this entire time, as well as a lot of units. Now, he did just invest a lot of money, but it was all in ghosts. He had 700 resources, dumped them into those ghosts. So Hack is really sticking to this two-base play. It's very interesting out of him to see him just continue to power these units to try and win with a pretty good timed attack here.
We do see the Zealots and Sentries starting to try to step forward. Maybe want to try to catch some of these Marine Marauders off guard. He loses one Sentry. The Colossi are joining together to be able to do a defense in the mid, but again, these drops really tough to deal with, and the cannon is not going to be done. Does RSVP have enough time to warp in? No, he actually can't afford to warp in right now. Can only get one Zealot in, and it looks like RSVP is just going to try to go for it up in mid, but his main is in shambles for now.
And those rogues are forced to evacuate out of there. I don't even know if he has enough to win a direct engagement in the center, because even if he's able to kill 1 for 1, his opponent's going to be able to re-macro that up while he's not going to be able to use his main base. It's going to be non-existent. There goes the Nexus down right now. Not able to save it. There's not a lot of resources left there, but losing your main base is never good. These units need to make sure not to get out of position. Looks like he'll be able to keep the Colossus alive for now, but the drop has long since gone. And that one Marauder is the only victory for RSVP in that battle.
Xenix Hack going to hide up on the top left, and what can you do against these medevacs at this point? You either need to be low on bases so you're easier to defend, or have that nice defensive army, pulling Stalkers, Templar with feedback. The Colossus, in my eyes, is just a great offensive unit, or really good at managing a frontal attack, but not good at these harassy, pokey proddies.
Yes, absolutely, and pokey proddy, Sean. Is that the official term for
that was actually taken from Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Ah, nice. Pokey proddy's attack. Oh, I love you, Sean. But it does look like the cannon is going to go down, and can he kill off these medevacs once and for all?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Oh, my
Still
God,
healing there. Oh, the one full of units does go down. As he did play balls, he looked like he gets sprinting inside the natural. You got to remember, our Terran player is only on 2 base, so if he loses this army, he's not going to have much left. But it looks like the Vikings able to melt away the Colossus. The Marauders joining in as well, and this army is now stuck at the bottom of the ramp. Positioning by Hack was perfect in that engagement.
Oh, Xenix Hack is crushing in this game, and there's the good game.
Wow.
Xenix Hack demolishes RSVP in that first best of 3. So what that means now is that these two players are tied. RSVP from the winner's bracket, Xenix winning the first best of 3 from the lower's bracket. That means it all comes down to one more best of 3. Whoever wins that will be crowned champion of the amateur division. I can't wait to find out what happens in game 1 of best of 3 number 2. So do you want to do it, Husky?
Oh yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a super quick break. We're going to be back right after this, and I want to talk about RSVP when we get back from the break, but we're going to a break right now. We'll be right back.